Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode, the third episode of the Galloway and Isabel podcast. To my right is Evan Isabel. How are you doing, Evan?
I'm doing fantastic. Just moved in.
Good. Yeah, we're in the new place and we're looking at this great view. And it's awesome. It's beautiful. Noah, how are you today?
Always great.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's Noah Galloway to my left. And today we're going to take a personality test. And as we do it, we're going to talk about each question and discuss it. How personality tests, the problems of personality tests, the biases that we all have when we're taking them, and how, depending on the context, how your answer will change for each question. But before we get to that, we need to talk about our sponsor. This podcast is brought to you by Morning Bell Coffee Roasters. Morning Bell offers a diverse and unique selection of specialty coffees. They have direct personal relationships with their suppliers. And every morning I make a latte with my espresso machine, and I always use Morning Bell coffee. It's always different, it's always interesting, and overall a great way to start the day. So you can visit Morning Bell at 111 Main Street in Ames, Iowa, or visit Wheatsfield Co-op in either Hy-Vee location to buy their coffee. If you do not live in the Ames area, no problem. You can order off their website, morningbellcoffee.com, and shipping is free anywhere in the United States if you order over 2 pounds of coffee. And whether you visit the actual location or order online, let them know we sent you. They like hearing how new customers hear about their business, and it shows us and them that this sponsorship thing actually works. So now that we have the business out of the way, let's get started with our personality test. If you guys want to follow along, pause real quick and pause the podcast and search 16 personalities and click on the first one at 16personalities.com, and you can follow along with us as we take this. Supposedly it takes less than 12 minutes. We're going to talk about it, and it'll probably take a lot longer, but it's really hard to know how long. So let's get started. What's the first question, Evan?
You find it difficult to introduce yourself to other people. Now, what we're looking at is on the left, we have an agree. And then there's several bubbles in between that we can click on. And then the far right is disagree. So it's a agree or disagree question. So you find it difficult to introduce yourself to other people.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Mm-hmm. When I've taken this test a long time ago, and these questions, these social questions, end up determining your extrovert versus introvert score. And like for me, in a social situation where I have a motive to talk to someone in particular, I have absolutely no problem introducing myself. So I put 100% agree, but the issue with that is eventually you get this like inflated extrovert score.
Yeah.
But I think that's how we have to look at this. Like, you have to kind of pick a certain situation you're going to answer all these questions by.
Okay.
And then, like, go from there.
So the thing is, you said you're good at like meeting people if you've got a goal. So like you're meeting the professor, you obviously know what you want from the professor. You want to come off confident and like you're interested about the topic.
Right.
But say you just see someone on the street and you're like, I don't want to meet that person.
Right.
Is it the same for you? Because I'm very uncomfortable with those. Without a goal, I get really nervous.
Yeah. If I'm going to introduce myself to someone just out and about, I will for sure have a motive. Like, it's something I want in the situation. So, yes. And then, like, in a business situation where we're trying to make videos for local businesses and we want to introduce ourselves, talk to this person, meet with them, and try to learn more about their business so we can offer something to them, no problem with that either. So, for me, when I take this one, I put 100% agree on this.
Okay. I'll put, so you find it difficult to introduce yourself to people.
Oh,
I think the
no,
introduction...
disagree. 100% disagree.
Wait, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the question was like flip-flop.
Yeah, exactly.
We just got to knock on the door.
There's a knock on the door.
We're all shirtless.
Yep. We're going to have our lucky shirts on, which is no shirt. Okay, we'll be right back, guys, okay? Okay, so we're back. What was that all about?
So the neighbors are, I'm assuming, foreign exchange students, and they couldn't, they didn't know how to light their candle.
Okay.
With, it was like one of those trigger lighters.
Yeah.
So the ones you have to push forward and then pull the trigger.
Right. And so now they have lit candles.
No, they have lit candles.
Thanks to Evan.
I'm pretty sure that's against the rules, but I went ahead and lit it for him.
Attaboy. I like that. You know what? Sometimes you just need candles.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it could have been fake. They could have been like just using that as an opportunity to meet people. That just got my brain rolling so
Right.
hard.
So
like,
they if they were taking this test, they would put 100% disagree potentially.
Yeah.
But they are sneaky about it.
mhm.
But they need
So-
something to talk to you. So
But that's such a good way to do it, though.
yeah,
Right. So actually, they could be 100% agree, as in it's difficult to introduce.
Mhm.
So they bring a candle along,
Mhm.
and then they're
yeah,
golden.
Exactly.
Golden. Okay. All right. So this question, are we good? We good with this one?
Yeah. So I am putting. It says not to do neutral, so you find it. Oh wait, the introduction part's pretty easy for me, because I'm on the same wavelength with you.
Right.
So the second question, Noah, are you?
So first one, are we talking about like the average person?
Oh wait,
or-
disagree.
Are we talking about?
You're talking about yourself.
Okay.
Oh,
meeting the average person.
Meeting yourself.
Meaning the average person?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think so because you're probably not going to want to introduce your. You don't really have a reason to introduce yourself to the average person. So this is to me this is like when you would want to introduce yourself to a person, do you have a difficulty doing it?
Okay.
So it's like
That makes
you
sense.
initially have that I want to introduce myself to that person. Now do I? I think we're on this. I think that's where because if we're just like doing a game where we're just say pointing at a person and then going introducing ourselves to them, that wouldn't really be I don't think that'd be much of an issue. But this is like actual life situations.
So like a teacher, like a boss or
teacher,
something.
boss, yeah.
So I think in those situations, I don't go into automatic pilot mode, but like I've got a certain, not a script, but I have
Right.
a lot of things that I do very similar every
Yeah.
single time I meet someone.
Experience it has gotten you repetition. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. You often get so lost in your thoughts that you ignore or forget your surroundings.
I am 100% in agreement with that because when I'm at the gym, like I go into autopilot mode 100% at the gym. I get like into my thing and I'm like a 100 miles away from the gym,
Right.
and I'm just doing my workout, but I'm thinking about like what's going on in my day, what's going on in. Sometimes it's just like weird stuff. Sometimes I'm thinking about aliens and like the hypothetical worlds I could be living in.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I get lost fairly often. That you ignore, forget your surroundings. I would say it's not a hardcore agree on this, but it's definitely so. If anybody's not following along, which is probably most people actually, there's a neutral option, and then there's 3 as you go up towards agree, and 3 as you move towards completely disagree. So we have 7 options here, with one of them being neutral. And for me, I would say this occasionally happens to me, so I would go slight agree on this one. I don't know. What do you think, Noah?
I say the middle agree one.
Middle agree. So
Yeah.
so you are, yeah. Okay, I got you. All right. You try to respond to your emails as soon as possible and cannot stand a messy inbox.
I'm more of like mull it over, like because I know if I respond right away, I'm gonna miss something. So for example, I just got an email from my advisor for my study abroad, and there's a lot of information that she gave me,
Right.
and so she told me to like talk to several people. She told me to write a blog. She gave me all this advice. And so if I responded right away, I'm sure I would have missed something.
Right.
But because I've taken a couple days to mull it over and look
Right.
at the whole thing.
Yeah, I think when I'm answering this question, I think they're trying to get at like. I think if they asked this question 20 years ago, they would have said, "Do you care if your floor is messy?"
Okay.
Like I think this is a are you completely clean and organized? And this is just like the modern version of it.
Oh, okay.
But I really understand where you're coming from with the I want to make sure I'm answering this correctly. You cannot stand a messy inbox.
So what do you think they're trying to look at when they're looking for people that are messy?
Yeah, like
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, it's less about the specific emails than it is about organization.
right,
Like if you look at someone that has like a million messages in their inbox,
right.
I try and keep it down to like below 50.
Yeah.
How about you, Noah?
I don't really care. I feel like it's if I'm trying to go back and figure something out that happened, some email from some teacher, I feel like it's easier just to go back in my email than to find it in the trash.
Okay, so you're more of the.
Um,
So you're disagreeing, or wait, how do we answer this?
So, I agreed, but not that strongly. Because I'm like every say 5 hours.
I'm on the low side. I deleted a lot of emails, but it's really hard for me to respond right away.
Right. Okay. You find it easy to stay relaxed and focused even when there is some pressure.
I used to be like really bad about pressure and stress and stuff, but after having a few jobs that were like really high stress, like working at Movies 12s.
Yeah. So you would be a somewhat agree, like a okay for communication purposes, there's 3 agree ones. There's 3 disagree and there's 1 right in the middle. 1 agree will be like you slightly agree. 2 agree will be the middle agree, and 3 agree will be the most agree.
Okay, and then the opposite with the disagree.
Opposite of the disagree, just like because it's hard to explain because like some of these have like somewhat agree and stuff, but there's too many options for that. So, like I would go for 2 agree.
2 agree. So
With
you're
3 agree being the most agree you could be.
okay, dude. You're so agree.
Yeah, I would say like there are some situations that I do not stay relaxed, but most of it I do, and I'm not saying that as like I'm super cool under pressure all the time, but it has more to do with like I don't care about enough things sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like school scenario. If there's like a somewhat pressure situation in school, I just don't quite care about it enough.
Mm-hmm.
But if we took school out of it and some other scenarios with it, then I would be strongly agree because there are some situations where I really care about it. And I'm really focused, and that helps me stay cool under pressure.
That's cool.
So I focus, and I prepare, and then I'm more likely to be calm and relaxed in those situations. And experience, like you said, in situations that have some kind of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Experience really helps. You get used to it. And then it's not as bad. Noel, do you have any thoughts on this one?
No, I don't.
All right.
Honestly.
You do not usually initiate conversations.
Hmm.
You do not usually.
It depends on who I'm with, because if I'm with someone that I want to have a conversation with,
Right.
yeah, but if I
Yeah. Here we get to the context thing, and I think this is a good time to have our extrovert versus introvert discussion, and also a good time. So I'm gonna start off by telling a story, and some people have probably heard this story already, including my podcast mates. But last year I had a job, or I still have the same job, but last year I sat next to my friend for the whole summer, and we talked a lot. We were pretty close. I enjoyed talking to her, and there was another guy who I did not enjoy talking so much, and we never really talked. And one day we were all sitting in the same area, and my friend I talked to a lot was reading off questions, like hypothetical questions or just general personality questions, and one of them was, are you an extrovert or an introvert? And I said, well, what do you think? And at the exact same time, she said extrovert, and this other guy who I didn't talk to too much said introvert. And that kind of sums up like how I feel about the extrovert versus introvert conversation, because it context and who you're around and the people you're around changed it so much.
exactly.
Like it changed it too much.
Yeah, because like if you're in a room with I don't know, what's a bunch of mathematicians, you're gonna feel like an introvert because you're not. I mean, like unless you're a mathematician and into all that jazz.
Right.
If they're boring, you're not gonna be bouncing off the walls. But if you're in a room full of like rock climbers that are like also like I don't know, mental health people that are trying to like make you feel good.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like you're gonna feel like you're super extroverty and you always want to talk to people. But
yeah, it depends a lot. And so and they talked about this later in this test. Like it asks, do you get your energy from being alone or being with people? And that like helps determine the score. And that was the explanation that was given to me. Like a lot of us would probably feel like we're both extrovert versus introvert because we're like, okay, well sometimes I talk a lot, and sometimes I don't. Like I will go long periods of time without like having any desire to talk.
Yeah.
And
But
then
there's just a bunch of grandmas around.
Yeah.
or even not like even like regular people. But and then I'll be like, oh okay, now I want to talk for a while, and then we all get together in Evan's room in the MU and we
shirtless.
what? We do a podcast. So the explanation was, yeah, what gives you energy? And for me, it is being in social situations. Like if we go have an interaction where we do some filming for a business and we're kind of talking to the person, the manager, or the people who work there, or the customers, then I get a rush from that.
Oh, yeah.
Afterwards, I'm like, let's do that again. Let's go somewhere else.
That's awesome.
But beforehand, I'm like, man, do we have to go over there? But then afterwards, I want to do another one and another one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely get energy from it. And like on the opposite end, being alone sort of creates a kind of a decay. Like I was like less energetic and just sort of so it goes both directions very quickly.
I also think, so the type of conversation I've been thinking a lot about just while you were talking, because you're like getting my gears going, you know, and that I was thinking about the hierarchy of conversation where it's like the most basic level of conversation is talking about like other people, like gossip,
Right.
talking about other people, talking about trash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the next level is like talking about world events or talking about like projects and stuff, which is like what we're doing.
Right.
We're talking. Well, actually, I don't want to be all high and mighty, but we're at the top right now. We're at the tipping top. We're at the top of the hierarchy of
Pyramid.
conversation. We're talking about ideology
Right.
and stuff like that. We're talking about talking.
Talking about talking. That is the top. That's the tip of the pyramid.
So, yeah, that's how it goes. And when you're, like, at that base level, if you're not self-aware, you could probably enjoy it. Like, if you're, like, one of the people, like, talking trash, like,
Yeah.
talking about nothing, like,
Yeah.
what you ate this morning. Who honestly cares what you ate this morning? When you say that, like,
Right.
when you're talking about your meals, like, unless you're, like, super into food.
Which is funny because at our next podcast we might be talking about that.
Talking about what?
Great
Food.
segue
Food.
into our podcast.
So basically we're at the top of the pyramid right now. In the next podcast we're
going to the
we're going to the very bottom.
As long as we're, like, as long as it's not just listing off food, I think
Right.
we'll be fine.
I think it should be fine. It should be fine.
It'll be great.
It'll be great. Okay. So you do not usually initiate conversations. How we answer this question then? I'm going to answer it, and everybody who answers this can answer it however they want. I'm going to answer it from the perspective of there is a situation where I want to initiate a conversation,
Okay.
and then do I actually do it or not? Sort of like the top of the very first question. And if I want to initiate a conversation, 90% of the time I do.
Okay.
So I'm going to go pretty much disagree. I'm going to go 2 disagree. And the next question. Also, as far as what we're taping this with, we've had some questions about that. We're using an iPhone, and it was surprisingly good, but it's not perfect. And at some point, we would like to get or borrow a microphone,
Yeah.
a better one. We also have Noah got a recorder, and at some point we should try that out.
Like the little flute thing?
That would be obnoxious. That can be episode 88. Noah can play
We
this
just
recorder
blow in the
all time.
recorder,
Yeah,
and that's the
whatever.
whole episode.
Okay, next question. You rarely do something just out of sheer curiosity.
Oh. I do random stuff all the time.
Yeah, same. Yeah, 100% disagree. And that could be boredom / curiosity, but I'm going to be a little. I'm hoping it's curiosity, so I'm going to say
I have a
disagree.
feeling that there's a lot more questions than we
All right,
thought.
there is a ton of questions. I think there's actually 100 questions, and we've gone on for 20 minutes already. Okay, we got to get going.
Okay, you feel superior to other people.
If it's
No, I don't.
Yes. Well, I do feel superior, and like also I did badly. Depends what you think. I took a narcissism test, and it scored very high.
So you did good.
No. Well, it depends.
Do you want to be a narcissist?
I want to be a little narcissist because to a certain extent it kind of goes hand in hand with confidence, but at the same time you don't want to be super narcissistic. But so this is the problem. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
the questions were basically, are you successful or are you not successful? And so not saying you're a narcissist is basically for losers, and successful people are...
It was like, the questions, was one or the other. Is like, does everybody want to hear what you say? Or does nobody want to hear what you say?
Oh, so there's no in between.
There's no in between, exactly.
Okay.
So it was staged to make me look bad.
Okay.
but anyway, yes, I do feel somewhat. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel great about it, but like, if we're being honest here, which is kind of the point, I do feel somewhat superior. So I'm gonna check. Oh man. 2 agree, I suppose, even though it's probably more like the
3 agree.
The 3
Or the 4 agree. It doesn't
Yeah.
even exist. The super agree.
Alright. Being organized, oh, we forgot about going fast. Being organized is more important to you than being adaptable. Being adaptable to me is like the most important thing.
Really?
Of like when we're starting some kind of project or like a business idea, you don't really know where things are going to go or what's required or what's needed or what's even wanted, what the business wants. It's like I have something I want to offer, but I got to be ready to do other things.
So you're the guy that's like goes off in his truck with all like you're gonna go fishing. You just get the fishing wire and you go.
Yeah, if I were to fish sometime, I would do
Just
that.
bare minimal.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think that's kind of my downfall is that I try and be organized, and so sometimes I don't do what I want to do because I want to make sure all of my checks are marked
Right.
off.
I'm not really sure how these are opposite or how these are, because in a way, if you were organized, you would be more likely to be adaptable. Like if you have everything easily at your everything right in a hand's reach, like you know where it is.
Yeah.
I feel like you're more adaptable. Like if there's no war and I knew where my gun is, I would be more adaptable to people shooting at me.
That's so true.
So I'm not really sure what exactly this is getting at, but I would say disagree just because I prefer to be adaptable than organized if I had to choose. But like I said, I don't see how they are opposites or in any way really like related in how they're asking it. You are usually highly motivated and energetic.
If it's something I care about, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we basically every question we keeps coming back to like, do we care about this? Do we want to meet that person? Do we whatever? You know?
Like scenario.
Yeah, it's so which is the whole kind of issue with these tests. But yeah, usually I would say so because I usually don't engage in things that I want to do anyway. So I'm gonna go pretty much agree. School is the one time where this comes to be an issue because it does. There's definitely a reason I am getting a degree, but there's not all parts of it I want to do at all times by any means. Winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset.
I think we're gonna be on the other sides of this.
We would rather.
I feel like-
we're okay with people getting upset.
I feel like
Yeah.
the narcissism side comes out.
Yeah,
'Cause
for sure.
I'm I'm more about laying back and see what other people do and see like I'm more interested in how other people react.
Right.
And so if there's a bunch of people and I get to watch them, I'm fine.
Yeah. Once again, in context, if I have like a small team, like we're working together, and then I'll be more likely to understand that the future success of this team kind of depends on us having a good relationship. So I'd be less likely to worry about winning the argument or winning the debate. But if we're talking about just a general group of people that I happen to be like in a social situation with, then yes, it's definitely like the debate matters more.
Like if you're going up against Hitler, you kind of want to win that one.
Hitler has been in 2 of our 3 podcasts. Yes, I'm gonna go pretty strong. It's two disagree on this one, so not the strongest disagree,
Okay.
because I'm leaving the team the team situation. But yeah, you often feel as if you have to justify yourself to other people.
I'm a little confused on what that means.
You have to explain why you do things.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think I do.
Right.
But I try and hold it back. I
Yeah.
try and just like I get that urge to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing this because of this, and then I'm like, wait, why would I care?
Right.
Why do I need to give this person an explanation for what I'm doing?
That's exactly where I've always been like initially like I don't know if my personality or just how I grew up, but I did feel like the need to justify actions or explain them or tell people why I was doing something. And a lot of times it's because I felt like I had a good explanation. But what I've learned and what people have told me is that a lot of times people don't think that's a good explanation. So you might as well just go do
They're
it
not
anyway.
on the same
Yeah.
wavelengths or whatever.
Yeah, so I have like you said exactly. It is an urge I resist, and I feel like I'm doing a lot better job of it now. It's like I'm just sort of, and also it's very exhausting justifying yourself. Or
It takes so much
explaining.
time.
It does. It's tiring.
And a lot of the times, like even if you're correct, the other person doesn't care. So like if you can
Right.
learn to talk in another person's language, they're gonna listen to you way more if you just talk to them in their language than if you try and express yourself like that.
Right. So disagree. Go ahead.
I just sometimes get a little mad people start to question what I'm doing because
Oh,
I
yeah.
know what I want to do, and it just
That's true.
Like when parents ask, like,
yeah
for
exactly.
practicing music, it's like, if you're with someone that's really judgmental and you're practicing guitar and you're not good at it,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, "Why are you doing that? You suck." It's like you don't start out amazing
Right.
at like whatever instrument you're playing,
Yeah.
and so like with that, I think you can be conditioned to like always justify what you're doing just because if you have someone like that around.
Right. Yeah, people are always asking questions. Then you exactly. And if they get under your skin, like Noah's talking about a little bit, then you feel like you need to explain them to shut them up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the hardest time. Like it's easier to not explain or justify yourself when you're not being kind of accused or of something or you're like or offended. But once you are offended or you become indignant, then that's when it's really difficult to not to feel like you have to justify yourself.
Yeah, I think
And-
some people just say things to agitate you, and you just need to walk away. Because
Yeah.
Because then
it
like
doesn't really matter, and that kind of gets back to the debate thing. That there's some debates that I don't care about enough to actually get into them, and I just don't really care enough
Yeah.
to get mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Your home and work environments are quite tidy.
I'd say so.
Yeah, me too. I try to avoid having extra clutter, and so that kind of by default keeps them tidy. There's not a whole lot to talk about there. You do not mind being the center of attention.
I don't care.
Yeah, me neither. We kind of have a podcast. Like,
Yeah.
You do not mind being the center of attention. Wait, okay. So, if we did mind, we would disagree.
Okay.
So I agree. I completely agree. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of do nots and agrees and disagrees and we're talking.
It's confusing.
You consider yourself more practical than creative. I'm gonna go some level of disagree on this.
Yeah.
Just because, do you need to go somewhere?
I'm just standing. I like
Okay.
doing that better.
He's standing. He's not leaving.
All you people in podcast land, don't worry. Noah is not leaving.
Noah's not leaving. But your pocket is hanging out.
Oh, thank you.
People can rarely upset you.
If you're my little sister,
Oh,
you can make me upset pretty fast. But
Shout out, Chelsea.
just kidding, Chelsea. You know I love you.
I'm going to somewhat agree on this as well. I get upset by less and less as time goes along, but that's good. But there's still obviously some things that just I can't help it. Also, when you're doing a podcast and stuff, and you want to talk about things, like people driving Ford Explorers that look like cop cars, like it's just sort of fun to get upset by those things.
Yeah.
Like in reality, I don't really care that much. It's just sort of like, why does it have to be that way?
Exactly.
So part of it is like we need material, but in reality,
It's not really the person. We're not really getting upset at this. Like if my mom had a white cop car looking car, we wouldn't like actually go yell at my mom. It's just like the idea.
right? It'd be kind of nice if
It's
you
just
didn't.
entertaining to do all this.
Right. It'd be nice if you didn't. Your travel plans are usually well thought out. Okay, so I'm assuming this means like you either just get on a road trip and drive, or you have all the hotels planned out a week in advance. I assume that's what they're talking about. But also, I plan out eating very specifically. Like
Really?
yeah, so I don't have to stop too much for fast food because it's expensive and like I'd rather eat something else. Like in general, like I try to bring along PB&J and stuff
That's
because
smart.
we'll talk about this next podcast. We've already talked about peanut butter quite a bit, but we'll get back to it. Don't worry. PB&J sandwiches are incredible.
They are the best ever.
And
Dude,
they
the thing
fill
is-
you up. They fill you up. You put a lot of peanut butter on there, it's like putting a stone in your stomach. You don't have to eat for 2
I
days.
know, dude. But the thing is, people from other cultures hate PB&J.
PB&J.
It's so weird.
Really?
Like I've
Okay.
met so many people that are like, "Ew, peanut butter, nasty."
Peanut butter. Okay. Let's talk about that next
Creamy or
episode.
Yeah, next-
Wait, hold up. We talked about this
I
already.
bet they haven't had crunchy then.
Okay, yeah, probably not. We're talking about this. The next episode will be about food. I have a lot of food questions lined up. I'm going to print them out and we're going to bring them here. We're going to go through them and see how long it takes.
All right.
But yes, that's
All right.
that's for next time.
It is often difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings.
Well, okay, so for me, I kind of have like I'm fairly good at playing devil's advocate, which is kind of annoying. Like, and also it's annoying when other people do it. Like my dad does devil's advocate quite a bit, but which is kind of annoying because like even if he agrees with you, he's trying to debate you.
Mm-hmm.
But that also helps in this scenario because if you can play devil's advocate, you can also understand multiple perspectives.
Yeah, that's
So
so
like
true.
it's sort of the lawyer kind of like the lawyer ability to be a lawyer. You have to be able to you have to understand multiple perspectives and be able to defend them.
That's so
And
true.
so I can't. So it's basically like then do you choose to show empathy because you understand those perspectives? And usually I try to.
Yeah, it's like digging past the surface area. So like, say we agree on a certain subject,
Right.
but and I just go along with it. But you're like, hey, I want to find out what he actually thinks just past the surface level. You're gonna find out so much more by doing that
Right.
devil's advocate thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is often difficult. So I'm going to say disagree mostly. To disagree. Your mood can change very quickly. I have noticed this with myself. And a lot of it's like thought, like what I think about, like a thought will pop in my head and all of a sudden I'll be like, it's not like usually it doesn't affect how I interact with other people
Mm-hmm.
because I usually like am able to put the situation first,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely will find like what I'm thinking about in the back of my head, like changing quickly,
Yeah.
dramatically, which is not super fun.
Yeah. I think going from like you're on a date, and then like all of a sudden you're thinking about death or something. That's not the best thing to be going on in your head.
Speaking of death, I've started writing my obituary.
Really?
Yeah.
How long is it gonna be?
I don't know. Well, hopefully longer as I get older. But right now it's not super long. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to die and have the closest chump with a pen put in charge of writing my obituary, so I'm going to get a jump on him.
Chill.
Your mood can change very quickly. Yes.
In a discussion, truth should be more important than people's sensitivities.
Okay. So we kind of already answered this,
Okay.
right? But like, so why do what? So do we know why they're asking it again? Is there trying to get something else here?
Okay, let's see. In a discussion, truth should be more important than other people's sensitivities. So the extrovert would be trying to feed off of energy, and so I think the extrovert would be trying to like keep the conversation going, whereas the introvert he gets his energy from being alone, so he's
Right.
actually just more interested in
The
like
truth.
the truth or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the introvert would be more apt to not worry about offending someone,
Right.
and be more interested in what they have to say or what they believe.
Yeah. And then there's also some extroverts who just don't really care either.
Yeah, that's true.
Other people.
If you think you're superior to them, other people.
Yeah, that also comes in your narcissist test. I'm gonna say mostly agree on this, like, because especially if you're actually trying to get something done, it's hard to you can't bypass the truth for sensitivities. So I'm gonna mostly agree. You rarely worry about how your actions affect other people.
This is another one of those opposite questions where you
Yeah.
have to if you do worry about the effect of other people, then you want to click disagree.
Right.
And vice versa.
You rarely worry about how your actions affect other people. I would say I worry about how my actions affect a few people. Always.
That's good.
And then beyond that, it's like whatever. But that's also not the question.
Yeah.
You rarely... Okay, I'm going to say slight agree. Because generally speaking, I'm not too concerned about it. But like I said, with a few people, like I am very concerned about it.
That's so true.
Which I think, like I like it that way.
Mhm.
Like I don't think I should be worried about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, like every action you have will probably have positive and negative reactions for certain people.
Exactly. But like, it's like how big your friend network is. If you have like 1,000 friends, I feel like you wouldn't have very many people that you have those connections with where you're like you actually worry about them. But if you have a small friend group, then you're gonna be more likely to have those connections where you worry about how they take things.
Right. Okay, so we have 32 questions done, and we've gone on for 36 minutes. We have about 70 questions to go. 60 questions to go. So how about this? Let's get going.
Okay, how about I'll read one and then we just answer it. And
Okay.
then-
That sounds good.
Is that good content though?
Yeah. I don't know. How about this? All right. Let's keep going the way we're going, but a little faster.
Okay.
And how about I got an idea. I've taken this like not that super long ago. How about like instead of trying to answer mine as well, how about you just go, Evan?
Okay.
and we'll just talk about it and kind of sit here and look at your computer.
Okay.
So we don't have to all try to answer questions. Noah, feel free to continue on yours. I just have to kind of keep turning around here.
All right. Your work style is closer to random energy spikes than a methodical and organized approach. I'd say that's correct for me because when I go to do something, it's all over the board. One day I could be crazy into it, the other day not.
It's for everybody.
Yeah.
For me, it spikes at night because I'm just more energetic at night.
So it's a time of day thing. Okay. Yeah. Next question.
You are often envious of others.
So jealousy or envy. Jealousy, envy.
I'm envy of what other people can do, but not like no. I don't care about what other people look like, but if I see someone like doing backflips, I get really like I want to do a backflip.
This is I think this is a kind of age related thing too. When you're a teenager, you're just more likely to be insecure and more likely to be envious. But so as I've grown, I've become less insecure there, and as a result, less envious. And I would say now, I rarely feel envious.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think I need more experiences to lower that level of insecurity.
Yeah, that's and also I'm fairly competitive,
Mm-hmm.
and that means super competitive. So, that leads to envy pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I don't think I'd change that part about the competitive side. I wouldn't change that because that also gives me a lot of positive juice and energy and But anyway, so next, an interesting book or video game is better than a social event.
I'd say I strongly agree with that.
Okay, I would go to disagree for me.
Okay. I get really
Yes.
anxious at social events.
Mhm.
So the majority of the time, an interesting book's going to be better.
Right.
But if I have a good social event, that one good social event's going to beat out 10 interesting books. But
Right.
it's often better.
Yeah. So this kind of comes back to extrovert versus introvert, how you get your energy. And I find myself if they were at the same time, and I was reading a good book, even if it's really interesting, I'd be like, man, I could be getting a lot of energy out of that social event.
Oh, yeah.
I could be getting amped right now.
That's true.
And so that would kind of bother me. But if it was different times, then I'd be like, okay, well then I'm not losing out too much by watching this book or reading
And
this book.
the thing with that is, a book's not going to go away, but an
Right.
event's one time. So I think even if you are an introvert, you're going to be more apt to go to the event because your book's going to be right there.
Right.
Unless you're really into the book or you're really introverted.
Right. Being able to develop a plan and stick to it is the most important part of every project. I strongly disagree, 100% actually. Because one thing I've learned pretty quickly is that things change very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be able to adapt. The plan really isn't that important. Action is way more important than the plan.
Your plan, the way I see it is they're thinking of plan as in think about health. If you're writing down every single calorie, every single sugar, every single thing, I think your plan should be more broad. You should have a plan such as all right, I'm gonna work out 5 times a week. I'm gonna do this, but it shouldn't. I think the idea of a plan is so intricate that it can get.
Yeah, I try to use a plan as motivation to do the next step. So my plan is so when we're talking about doing the business stuff, it's well, we need to make a connection with this person because they can be influential and help us along, and we can help them. So what's the plan to make a connection with this person? And then we'll figure out the rest beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I use a plan, as motivation, as a one-step process. Obviously, plans are important, but I'd much prefer to be adaptable.
Oh yeah.
You rarely get carried away by fantasies and ideas. What do you think, Evan?
I get super into my fantasies.
Yeah, me too.
We should change the word from fantasy because that sounds a little
Dreams, goals.
goals. Let's go with goals.
So carried away can mean they distract you from just doing the daily things you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of just thinking every so often you allow yourself to think about think about your dreams.
Yeah.
And I do that often. Whenever I'm I think it's good too because it kind of allows you to put your priorities in place.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can reevaluate the daily things you're doing. You're like, okay, well, is this actually getting me to my dream?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of dream questions coming up later, actually.
Oh no, that's gonna take up a lot of time.
All right, when you find yourself lost in thought, you often find yourself lost in thought when you're walking in nature.
Huh.
100% agree.
How do people not get lost in thought? That's-
Yeah, this actually, like, when I think the most is when I'm in nature. And I don't know if it's because, like, nature is pretty, but it also, like, I don't know, it's not quite enough to.
Yeah. Like, it's like the one
distract
thing,
me.
like when you're sitting down, or like not doing, it's like, it's almost as if you're not doing anything. Like, if you're walking through nature, you don't have anything with these, like, any signs to distract you. And if you're walking, that's like just enough energy to put you past, like, that point where you're thinking about something stupid, something like school or something.
Right. If someone does not respond to something stupid like school, if someone does not respond to your email quickly, you start worrying if you said something wrong. Let's take this also to text, Snapchat.
Because I do not email that often.
Yeah, and also my emails are not of that high importance yet to worry about them too much. No, I would strongly disagree. I just assume they're busy or something.
Yeah, honestly, like, if texts are more like secondary interactions,
Right.
so like when you text me, I don't care if you like just butcher the spelling. Like, I have my phone on Spanish right now, and so a lot of the times I'll be typing a word,
Yeah.
and it'll come out like in Spanish because
Right.
it's so close to the English one, but it'll be spelled completely wrong. And there's a lot of problems where like my eyes won't be capitalized, and I just hope the people that I'm texting don't care because I don't care.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna strongly disagree. As a parent, you would rather see your child grow up kind than smart. I'm gonna go slight disagree.
Yeah, same. Because I want my kid to be kind. I think that's my kid's gonna be kind. But if he's not smart, that can defeat the purpose. I don't want some kid that's like going around like, let's take it back to Hitler.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Okay, good.
I'm sure there were some people that were following him that were kind, but they weren't smart.
Right.
So
True. Yeah, you can follow the wrong
So, like-
people. People thought Hitler was awesome, and he
That's
was kind of
crazy.
awesome for a little bit. Well, not at all, actually. Okay, don't
Like,
don't
from a-
quote that part of the podcast.
understand that there was a different meaning intended by that.
If you were living in those areas before you were aware of the stuff he was doing,
It would be
he
like-
was also helping your economy.
Yeah. So
So-
it's like the idea of, like, we look around all these things we have, and if you don't know the history behind it, you're like, you feel
Right.
amazing, you feel awesome. But if you know the history behind certain parts of America, you're like,
Oh.
why this city should not exist.
You do not let other people influence your actions. This is another super long one potentially. I'm very careful about who I let influence my actions, and it's usually people I trust a lot, and that's not a super high number of people.
Yeah, I feel like the people that do influence me a lot.
Right.
But it's not every day. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a few teachers that just like blow me away, and they're like so inspiring. But the majority of teachers, I'm like, oh, it's
Right.
just another teacher.
This also kind of goes with the like, do you feel superior to others? Because if you feel superior to people, you're probably less likely to let others influence your actions.
true.
So that's where being a narcissist kind of helps.
Yeah.
Okay, your dreams tend to focus on the real world and its events.
I feel like I'm a little bit more out there because I'm in the thinking that
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna want to do.
Right.
Like, you hear about the people that make their own markets. Like,
Wait.
they didn't get to where they were because like they were listening to other people. I guess if you're looking at the world
Right.
and you see the need for something, then you can fill it. So I guess there's two sides of this question. Your dreams tend to focus on the
There's-
real world and its events.
Right. There's also your actual dreams, like when I'm sleeping. And
Okay, so there's that too. I was thinking more about like your aspirations.
very aspirations. I'm just for fun, because there's a lot of dream questions. I'm gonna do as I'm sleeping. So do you dream like these fantastical things, or do you dream like of people or your interactions you've recently had? I did a dream. I to keep a dream journal, and sometimes I forget to write in it when I wake up, but I always dream about like people I've interacted with, or things not like dragons and stuff.
Really?
I never have those crazy dreams.
See,
and
I'm
people
right in the
tell
middle.
them, but
Yeah.
like mine aren't that crazy. Just like people I've interacted with, and it will like affect how I like what I think. Like I will think about people I've dreamed about the next day, just
Same.
because it's like it felt very real. It
It's
didn't
so
feel like
weird.
something flying around.
See, like, what my dreams are like is, like, it'll be a mixture of, like, unworldly stuff and, like, just dragons and wild stuff like that, but mixed with, like, super realistic things.
Okay.
So there'll be, like, a person that I'm a friend with, and we'll be having this interaction that's super, like, normal.
Yeah.
But then there'll be, like, dragons coming in and stuff.
Well, that sounds kind of fun, actually.
Personally, I barely ever dream, so.
Okay, well.
And I do remember it if I do, so.
Nice. Okay. Well, perhaps you start a dream journal, and
I should,
will
yeah.
help you
Yeah.
remember them.
All right, we are halfway there, guys. What are we
Halfway
at
there,
on time?
and we've been going on for 48 minutes.
Oh, dude,
wow.
we've got to get them at
Okay.
like 50 in the next 10
It does
minutes.
not take you much time to start getting involved in social activities at your new workplace.
Doesn't apply to me because
Doesn't apply.
I
But-
haven't had a new workplace.
Yeah. Just answer what you does not take. I would do slight disagree. Like, I would probably get involved pretty quickly. You are more of a natural improviser than a careful planner. I slightly agree for myself. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Wow.
Too deep for this fast pace.
Yeah, fast
I have
paced
no
is not.
idea. I'm going slight
I-
disagree.
I would say slight agree, but like I've gotten better at that. I would, and I guess I'm not sure if this means like you're kind of immediate. Actually, I'm not sure what it means, so let's move on. you
Out of the time. You enjoy going to social events that involve dress up or role playing? No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
I like dressing up.
Someone's at the door, I think.
We have another person at the door. Okay.
We have to get a
Sounds
shirt.
like-
Right, shirts.
We should go to grab noodles after this.
Okay, that sounds good. Another interruption, but you know what? We took care of it.
Took care of her.
Took care of her. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical yet intriguing ideas.
100% for me.
I can see that. Yeah, I would slightly agree as well. You would rather improvise than spend time coming up with a detailed plan. 100% agree. You are a relatively reserved and quiet person. Another extrovert versus introvert context question.
Kind of obvious what they're getting at there.
Right. If you had a business, you would find it very difficult to fire loyal but underperforming employees.
You would find it difficult to fire loyal but under.
Well, okay, so
I wouldn't, honestly. I would pretend like I do to save their feelings,
Right.
but I am I believe that if you're at a place, I do not care how long you've been there. If you've been. Because people can maintain a job for a long time without doing anything.
Right.
And those people are leeches, so I don't care about leeches.
yeah, amen.
What if it's like a young person who has potential and he's kind of like off and on,
Yeah,
off the rocker a little bit, but
yeah, I agree. I would keep on that person, but I don't think that's what this is getting at.
yeah.
So,
You often contemplate the reasons for human existence.
100%.
I don't, because it really does. I don't that often. I have, but it's not something that really like it doesn't take much time.
Really
Yeah.
nice. I like to think about death in bed. It happens a lot.
Logic. Go ahead.
Logic is usually more important than heart when it comes to making. Yeah, it's 100%. I definitely am not gonna marry someone that is a meth head or something like that. No matter
Right
how much I would love.
on. Good for you. Keeping your options open is more important than having a to-do list. Well, a lot of these questions are very similar, so yes, strongly agree for me.
Yep. So, if your friend is sad about something, you are more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. I'm gonna offer some emotional support just because I know that a lot of people do not like,
Right.
especially when it comes to like death or something. No one wants to hear, "Oh, I know what you're going through." Just be like, "I'm here for you."
Right.
So.
You have no difficulties coming up with a personal timetable and sticking to it.
I'm fine. I
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
Like I usually start my day thinking about what I'm gonna do. So.
Right. Being right is more important than being cooperative when it comes to teamwork. I've heard this one before.
I think I disagree with that one.
Right.
100% for me.
Yeah, so this is back to like what we talked about with it. If you have a team and you understand the importance of having that team's relationship be strong long term.
And then
So,
it also
yeah.
comes with like, if you're like a narcissist, then you're probably going to be team captain anyway, so it doesn't really matter. This question doesn't apply to you.
Right. You think that everyone's views should be respected regardless of whether they are supported by facts or not. I strongly disagree. I do not think you should have an opinion if you do not have any kind of
Yeah.
facts. Now you can feel a certain way, but I don't think it should be respected.
Yeah.
Like earlier when we said offer a solution or offer emotional support, I'll offer emotional support if you have a problem. Like you don't really need facts for that.
Mm-hmm.
But like if this is a political view or something like that, I would really appreciate it. And not just any kind of facts. Like politics, something down the middle.
Yeah.
Something from a site that's down the middle. How about that?
Yeah.
Or a newspaper that's down the middle. You feel more energetic after spending time with a group of people. Yes.
That's obvious.
Yes.
Question.
Yeah. So what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. This is. I have a strong disagree or strong agree on this. Yes, I feel much more energetic.
You frequently misplace your things. I disagree.
Yeah, me too. I've gotten really good at having systems for things like this. You see yourself as very emotionally stable.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Sometimes. Depends.
Yeah, I'm in the agree
Yeah,
side. Yeah. Your mind is always buzzing with unexplored ideas and plans.
Yes.
100% agree. That's why I don't sleep.
You would not call yourself a dreamer. No, I would definitely call myself a dreamer.
Yeah, same. You the dreamer discussion is kind of fun. It's also are they asking like you dream like you have big dreams but you have plans to accomplish them, or you do the daily things you need to do to accomplish them, or do you dream in a sense that like it keeps you from doing anything?
Yeah.
See, like you're like some people associate dreamer with I have a dream but I don't have any plans or any ways or any action to get to it.
Like, oh, that guy's just a dreamer.
Just yeah, exactly. So I am answering these from like you have ideas and goals, like big ideas that you want, and you have a vision. That I would like to change it to vision and answer it from there.
Vision quest.
Yeah, and so in that sense, then I would call myself a dreamer / visioner.
Visioner. I'm a visioner. You usually find it difficult to relax when talking in front of many people. Disagree. Just because I've had speech classes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is something like when I was in middle school for sure, but early in high school and stuff, I had a lot of problems with public speaking, and now I absolutely love like I really like doing public speaking. Like I would like it to be a big part of my career, and I think I'm pretty good at this point.
Just like have the whole office come like, all right, I don't have anything to talk about. I'm just gonna give a speech right now. Okay, be ready.
But that just comes from repetition, and of a repetition of an uncomfortable thing, and it becomes less uncomfortable, and then eventually comfortable, almost. Generally
speaking,
let's
do it together.
Generally speaking, you rely more on your experience than your imagination.
We should do that every once in a while.
Every once in a while. More experience.
I was focusing more on saying it at the right time.
Than the actual question. I agree. I'm going to read it again.
Generally speaking.
Experience and imagination. Well, here's the problem. I'm not old enough to have enough experience to actually rely on it.
That's true.
So, yeah, we're going on imagination here, kids. You worry too much about what other people think.
No.
So, yeah, this is one of those questions, like, I always think you can worry too much about what other people think, even when I worry a very little about what people think. So, again, I always feel like, oh, I'm worrying too much, even when I'm not worrying that much.
Yeah. I 100% agree because, like, I feel like being an artist, you have to, like, give 0% worry about what other people think. Yeah. Especially, like, I've been writing music recently, and it's just the amount of cringe I get when I look at my work, it's unbearable.
Yeah.
But you have to, like, not care.
Right.
Because if you look at some artists' lyrics, you're going to be like, on paper it looks weird, but when they sing it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, good for you. If the room is full, you stay close to the walls, avoiding the center. I strongly disagree for myself. You have a tendency to procrastinate until there is not enough time to do everything.
I do not agree with that.
Yeah,
I always make sure I'm getting it done on time.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is like a learned thing as well. Like, we're all by nature, I think, likely. I mean, even the best of the best, the most dedicated, still procrastinate, but just something to work on.
Yeah, people just... I don't like it when people say I'm a procrastinator. It's like, stop being that. Stop doing that. Figure out why you're doing that and stop procrastinating.
Right. It's not... Like, they say it like they're stuck with it.
Yeah.
Like it's a disease.
You get rid of your phone. Figure something out, dude.
Yeah. You feel very anxious in stressful situations. So we've had this question, a similar question. I also would disagree.
I guess I do. It's like I disagree, but I do feel like my heart stuff, my heart going faster, and I feel like my body. But I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah, the
feel-
rush is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what gives you that energy.
yeah.
So maybe you are an extrovert. You believe that it is more rewarding to be liked by others than to be powerful. I would disagree because, well, okay, for some things they would go hand in hand here, but like it's impossible to have everybody like you.
Mhm.
Even people who obviously become president, like they did not. They less than half.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So yeah, I'd prefer to be powerful. You always have been interested in unconventional and ambiguous things.
Books, arts, or movies.
Book arts for me. Yes, me. I
Same.
I have a movie spreadsheet. If anybody would like it, I'll share it with you.
Ooh, that can be a little bonus for all you podcast viewers.
If anybody's made it to minute 59, let me know by asking for the movie spreadsheet.
Yep.
You often take initiative in social situations. Yes.
Yeah.
For me.
I can't think of any situation. I've been a hermit for a while, so I'm just gonna put light green.
Oh,
is that
that's
it? That was it. Okay,
Oh, we're
cool.
done.
So we can look at mine real quick.
Just
'cause I'm
under an
done.
hour. Okay.
So, dude, my personality type is a commander.
Nice.
What? I did not expect that. I was more of a loner. I was thinking that was what I was gonna get, but my mind says this trait determines how we interact with our environment. So introverted and extroverted. It says I'm 66% extroverted and 34% introverted, which makes sense because
Right.
I feel like I should be more in the middle, but
Yeah.
energy, it says I am 81% intuitive and 19% observant, which makes sense because like I go off intuition probably way too much.
Right.
And I don't use my resources as much as I should
Yeah.
have, but I'm getting better at using my resources.
Resources.
I'm using my resources.
That's what happens on minute 61.
You just stop speaking well.
Your words come together.
Nature, I'm 55% thinking and 45% feeling, which
Okay.
is pretty accurate. Tactics, I'm 52% judging and 48% prospecting
Okay.
for gold and oil.
Right.
You know, like prospectors.
Yeah, prospectors. Yeah. 18.
Identities, 69% assertive and 31% turbulent. Is that what that says? Turbulent?
Yeah, that's what it
It's,
says.
it look when I read it, it's like turbulent.
Oh, nice.
Turbulent.
That. Yeah. It sounds like a detergent.
See reading.
All right. So yeah, there's supposedly 16 personalities. I think that kind of like we're done.
Nice.
It's been gone a long time.
Oh wait, we can talk about who other
Commanders
people-
you may know?
Other commanders. So
Commanders you may
Steve
know.
Jobs. Steve Jobs, sick dude. Gordon Ramsay. I'm liking these results, dude. Gordon Ramsay. Harrison Ford, dude. I was just at his museum. That makes so much
Nice.
sense.
Nice.
Probably rubbed off on me. Margaret Thatcher. Whoopi Goldberg, I can dig it. Jim Carrey, nice. Franken.
FDR should not be standing. Why is he standing?
David, I don't know this guy.
Dude, Petraeus.
Is he famous?
He's some kind of. I think he had an affair sometime and fell off or
Tony Soprano. I wonder how many of these are there.
a lot. Okay.
Oh no, we're
Well, okay. I enjoyed this pod. I enjoyed doing this pod. Hopefully, you guys. I can't believe this took an hour. Like, it does not felt like an hour. Maybe it has felt like an hour for you. I don't know. Either way, the next podcast will be about food. We'll have a lot of food questions, a lot of food answers. hopefully,
yeah.
I have a couple food theories that we'll test out and get some reaction. Also, let us know how you guys felt about this episode, and also anything you guys want to talk about or want us to talk about. If you have a prompt that you would like us to talk about, text it, or at some point maybe we can get you to call in, and we'll shout you guys out, like, you know, blah 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 with Instagram handle Mike Jones wants us to talk about, you know, and blah blah. So we'll do that, and yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. We'd like to hear how your guys' personality test turned out, and we'll put this episode out real quick. So
This
I
has
think we're
been
good.
Evan Isabel.
Thomas Galloway,
Noah Galloway.
and
This is the pod.
This is the pod. The
We don't
Galloway.
have an outro yet.
The Galloway and Isabel podcast. Check out Galloway and Isabel podcast, sponsored by Morning Bell Coffee Roasters. Check them out. At the very least, go to their website or their Instagram. Get some more information from there, and have a good one, guys.